есть определенные сложности, поскольку наши компании
Since
часто
our companies, well, they quite often want a quicker dynamics, a faster dynamics than it is possible in governmental structures in India. But since our objective is export contracts, and this being supported by the documents, so overall, it is a significant step forward from the point of view of our work, including here. And could you tell us, please, if we talk about trade representation, what is your position official? What is the official name of your position? Well, for example, there is a senior engineer or deputy. I'm a specialist. Specialist. I am a specialist. Well, I guess in order to be able to conduct negotiations at such a high level, and I know the Indian market, and they're quite sensitive regarding the status of the person who conducts negotiations. I guess just calling you specialist is probably not enough. We're not well acquainted, but you mentioned export operations, and you don't have objectives about import operations. Well, we are working with the digital agenda overall, and since we support export and can you verify companies which come to you with the contact and can you do due diligence, for example, in the Indian information media? Well, yes, we can do that using internet resources, right? Or some other capabilities. Well, I'm not ready to reveal every detail here, but we do have the capabilities to do that. Well, I'll take your word for that, of course, because we do realize that there are companies who might not fulfill their obligations, even under the contracts. We all know that, because there is a final clause in the contract about due diligence. And is it insured? I mean, the contracts, are they insured? Let's say this is the work of the company. We help them, we support them, we provide them information and organizational support. But as far as the economy side, we are not involved in that. Yes, since you're the first one, I'm sorry for pressing you here. I apologize for that, and I promise I won't do that again. But so, as far as I understand, you do not take part in the contractual work, right? From the legal point of view in India, or what court, or is it the English law that is applied? Well, I just worked in external economic affairs with India, and there are a lot of things I understand. So it's quite sophisticated, and from what you're saying, you don't have too many authorities. Hi. Well, since there is there are areas where I can help, and there are areas where I can be only a participant. And if there is a situation where there's a misunderstanding or help is needed with audit or some checks, or if there is a need to find lawyers, for example, in India, yes, we can do that. But as far as the details of the contracts, that's up to the companies. And what about Russian companies? Are you happy? Do you welcome everyone from Russia? We are a government institution, and by all means, we replied to all the requests that come to us, but requests can be different. There are general requests, there are requests from those who are ready to import. Well, one thing is when it comes from a global company or venture project. Well, I mean, how do you know who contacts you from Russian side? Well, we can. Rebus, yes, okay. Send my regards to Mr. Rebus, who is our representative in India. Yes, I understand you're not sufficiently equipped for now to do that kind of work. So you've been there for 1 year, I see. And final question: could you show us the so-called KPI for which contracts were signed with your participation? Well, I can provide this information, but only within the annual reporting. Wonderful reply. You passed the test. With that, okay. Thank you. Are there any questions? It's just I would like to mention once again that India is the largest software manufacturer. And if you could use the microphone, please. Is this the question to me or to our specialist in India, our colleague in India? I didn't hear. Yes, hi. Maxim Martynov here. Phoenix Carbon Project. We prevent forest fires, and hence we create carbon units, the so-called carbon units ESG agenda. We realized that the Indian emission is rather extensive. That includes China. And from your experience, did you have projects which whose essence was to transfer carbon units between the states? In particular, that's the first question. Second question, judging from the answer, what would be your advice regarding entry points to the Indian market? I mean, the standards. There are a lot of standards. There are gold standards which are used to create carbon units, and so this is a specific business question. Thank you. If you have specific business request, please contact the trade representation and send an official request, and we will give you an official response. Okay, let's let Olga Sergeyevna go. And Olga Sergeyevna, please understand us correctly. It's not an interrogation. We're just trying to understand the measures which could help promote our software and establish import. These are like communication vessels. Okay, thank you, Olga Sergeyevna. Any comments here regarding the beginning of our conversation? Let us move on then. Vadim Veselov, Digital Attaché, Trade Representative of Russia, South African Republic, online.
Dear colleagues, hello. Yes, I'm online. I'm gonna give the floor to Veselov to actually with his welcoming address. Hello, glad to greet all the participants for the understanding that the digital attaché is well integrated into the trade mission work, and we have certain delineation of duties here. And Andrei Yuryevich, he was trying to, the colleague Vadim, to make responsible so that he doesn't check the counter agents. And well, in the South Africa, we have especially trade persons who check the counter agents as much as that person can do it within our framework. And what I also wanted to say here, tell you here, is that we are so happy that in South Africa, in the trade mission that we have, it's one of the first countries, the pilot country, we have a digital attaché, because digital attachés, they are quite highly professionally, they work in all those things that you have to be really meticulous there, and this sphere is very specific, and digital attachés, they have this special training, and not every person in trade mission has this high skill, high education, level of education that our digital attaché has. Because yesterday we were talking about, we were dealing with car tires, and why South Africa doesn't need kiddie sleds, for example, and then medical, for example, it could be pills or tablets. So we're universal, but digital attaches, they're highly professional. What they do is they do this work, this particular digital stuff in the profile, and the functionality that all the general trade mission has. We trying to take off our digital attaché, where we have the if we have what they were dealing with, they're dealing with now, and they not new duties. Our digital attaché is one of the very well loaded. He is quite a workload that he has. And in this connection, I wanted to. He's got enough work to last him a while. The companies, market operators, they come for the support to the digital attachés for the support, and it is not a marketing department of the Russian exporters. This is the service that provides for the information and analytics and consulting and legal support. So I don't know how in the other countries, but here in South Africa, authorities are very attentive. What don't they do the commercial things in the we're the part of the embassy, so you don't do the commercial stuff in the embassy. So we're limited in our status, but we're always ready to help the Russian exporters and ICT products, ICT services, IT products, and certain stories of success we do have. But I'd warn you, don't open the passwords and addresses and the surnames, because neither me, not Vadim, we are not authorized. Neither Russian economy operators nor South African partner. We open certain data on success. Now the geopolitical situation, critical situation, this carelessness, information could cost you a contract failure. So please be careful in spreading this information. I'm so sorry I talked over you. No, it's just I'm done. I'm actually, thank you. And with people present here, is the business community here. Maybe you have some recommendation. You might be glad to see somebody. What kind of products you know? I don't think it would be a commercial secret, but.
Вы знаете, мы
we are happy to see everyone. We're very responsible. We provide all the information that we have, that we can. We dig up what we didn't dig up, and what's impossible to find, and it's impossible to find. That's complex. So digital attaché works on the orders of mission head. And a particular question, I wanted a concrete question. How IT people, this is the e-city, the smart city, for example. This is the project, good project. Would it be good for the South Africa? Smart city, very good. It's actually developing really well based on their own South African developments in this sphere. As far as I know, I've enjoyed the smart city here when, for instance, my car was caught up. There was a motorbike that ran into me, and quite serious. And then the police and the ambulance and everything, they just arrived. Why? Because there was a system, automatic recognition of positions or poses, and there was an automatically the ambulance was called and the police was, and one of the developers is the Russian company, in actual fact. So that is very optimistic finale for your report. If you want to stop me at this, I'd be quite happy. No, I don't want to stop you at all. I don't want to stop anybody or to make anybody do anything. Or part with, so digital attaché is a new person, a new kind of player on the horizon of international economic activities. So I'm the finance and credit. This is what I am. So it doesn't matter butter or cannons. It's the same approach, isn't it? You have different specialists. You have different professionals. So what is the overall, or is it a totally separate project? So totally different product. And well, in the beginning, digital attaché is integrated in the work of our trade mission. For example, we have specially trained people who check counter agents. So why would the digital attaché do that? Why would they get into that? No, there's no point. So, you know, now there is a big problems with payment system. We can just blockchain, Bitcoin, whatever. All in the entire world lives like that. Only lazy people in the Emirates, they don't discuss it at the table. South Africa, would it be different? I don't think it would be. Well, you know, it is different. It is even more complex with payment systems, but professional financiers, the companies, importers and exporters, the partners from both sides, they find the ways to resolve it. And in the first quarter, our export compared to the first quarter last year, it's actually grown. So are we going to grill Veselov or are we not? No, I will not, you know. Yeah, I will listen. I will not give him third degree. I'll just listen to him happily. If there are certain delicate things there, we can actually wind it up. No, there are no secrets. He, with as well as secrets, he knows all the other things that he is able to share. So once again, another approach, please. Thank you very much, dear colleagues. I like when I'm grilled. I like answering complex, interesting questions, which have already sounded here. And it is probably what I wanted to say, first of all, the Institute of Digital Attaches, this is export of technological sovereignty. So it is established for the countries to have sovereign solutions, so they could manage them from the inside. And South Africa is one of the wonderful examples to demonstrate the difference of what we have in Russian Federation and what it could have been. What's happening in Africa now? In Africa, unfortunately, predominantly the global corporations and global players with their solutions are very developed, and very often companies, smaller companies which have lower resources, are very difficult to compete. And one of the examples here, for example, in Russia, there is a system, NSPK, we started working on it from 2015, maybe a little bit before, and that led to the situation when we needed it, it was there, and we could just start it and run it and use it, and so develop it. In South Africa, they don't have that situation. So now, if we turn off Visa and MasterCard, majority of transactions will just stop. Which is why now in the South African Republic, in the majority of commercial negotiations, hey guys, what are we buying exactly? We're buying a black box again, that we don't understand how it works, and then we get a result. Or do we build a local competency center, expertise, we understand how the solution works, we develop it, and then we're ready to work with you, not only to buy and to sell, but also science and technical collaboration. You see, we'll talk over you. Well, the ambassador from Angola to Russia is here, and they talk about how they advance in the digital economy, and the two countries, Yandex came there. Did Yandex come to Africa as a global player? Well, Andrei Yurievich, we work with different Russian corporations, Yandex included. Yandex, is Yandex a secret? No. Well, we're proud. It's a Russian company, came there. I just thought that you'll have a phone like, yeah, come to Yandex. Yandex will tell you about their successes, and then we'll support them. Well, let them talk. I totally agree with Maxim Yurievich Andreevich. If you let me, I would love to give you an answer. What you were talking about, the subject, the spheres. You were talking about sphere of safe city, and in the register of domestic IT solutions, most of these safe city, safe urban area, is more than 30,000 in the register of Ministry of Digital Development accredited, and 20. More than 200 registered officially. So the question here is not from the point of view of sphere, that in Russia is developing better, more successful, less successful. I would pose the question on the particular solutions or a particular company, because I'll be honest with you, in my experience working with IT companies, 9 out of 10, they go offline writing letter in English. 70–80% of companies who come for the support, they don't have a localized solution. So the localization in South Africa is just very simple. It's English, just do English. And after that, this is what I started talking about. The competitors. Who are the competitors? Competitors are global corporations. Everything works. So they have absolutely all the localization. They are ready to come here right now within 1 week, 2 weeks, just to start a pilot project and demonstrate how everything works. Which is why negotiations with the Russian exporters, with their solutions, developments, let's contract, and within half a year we do the localization. No, well, you know, that is kind of following the logic in terms of competitive analysis. It's actually well under. So your page, do you have a web page? Digital Attaché has there is a site of the trade mission of Russia to the Russian Federation and the service of digital attaches. We have our own project office and the Center for the Applied Development here of artificial intelligence. Trade mission, that is, this is a separate service of digital attaches. And trade mission. Don't tell me, I understand. I did do the international economy. Do you have your own personal page? No, I don't have my own personal. We don't have this the authority to actually have personal page. Any questions to the South Africa or wishes or remarks? Is there a Yandex guy here? No Yandex, the brightest and shiniest.
So every success to you, and I hope that if we met a year later, if there would be more content to the report, and I'm sure you will get there. Thank you, Andrei Yurievich. Thank you, colleagues. And my gratitude to you. Colleagues, we have several digital attaché, and then we'll maybe have a discussion. So we have Robert Gildanov, digital attaché in Kyrgyzia. Robert, are you here? Good day, dear Andrei Yurievich, dear organizers and colleagues, dear participants of our discussion. And Andrei Yurievich, if I may, I'll start with a short word of introduction. Yes, please. Don't stop. I'd like to start by saying that Central Asia countries recently has been one of the most promising markets for export of Russian IT solutions. And these countries, in particular, the Kyrgyz Republic, is open for international cooperation. And it is open for implementation of innovations in various areas. As I've mentioned, of particular attention is Kyrgyzia merits a lot of attention as banking sphere and as finance and technology sector. where high quality transformations happened. E-government was established, including e-government services portal, and that sounds like an advertisement. An advertisement of what? An advertisement of what? Robert Rustamovich, what is your function there? As a digital attaché. Well, as my colleagues from India, South African Republic said, well, maybe you have your own specifics in Kyrgyzia. I'll be in Bishkek on the 26th, and we'll have a chance to have an in-depth conversation. I'll be happy to meet you there and talk. And yes, I'll be glad. And what other companies would you invite to the Kyrgyz market, or is this an incorrect question? Well, this is a very good question, probably the most correct question. And well, first of all, as Kyrgyz Republic, since Kyrgyz Republic is an agricultural country, and for this region, it's mining industry and extraction industry. And this is one of the main spheres of economy. We have considerable mineral deposits, oil, gas, called, well, could you give us the numbers? Could you give us the numbers? Give us the numbers. You've said it's an agricultural country. That's why there's mining in the ore mining industry developed here. And what confuses you? But do you think it's logical? Was Lucerne the main agricultural product, and that's for this reason there's rare earth metals and the gold. But give us the numbers. Andrei Yurich, yes, thank you for your comment. It's just the solutions in industrial automation, and in particular automation control, SCADA, and other IT solutions in the triangle of industrial automation. They are relevant here. That's what I was leading to. And thank you for helping me formulate it in a more concise way, and thank you for that. And the next one, and we mentioned this sphere, it's also a promising one, and I'm talking about digitization of the urban environment. So roughly speaking, the implementation of Russian systems to control traffic, for example, in Bishkek, and the establishment of the centers for organization of traffic. And the analogy is how it's done in Moscow. And it's worth mentioning that Citronics Group, a Russian company, it is equipping the central areas of Bishkek with smart traffic lights and the equipment to monitor the parameters of transport flows. And this is open source information, so those who are interested, they can find information there. The next area I would like to talk about is solutions for information security, in particular national cybersecurity. It is protection from cyber threats and prevention of interventions, antiviral software, data ciphering, warrant, etc. Cloud technologies should be mentioned as well, because Russian cloud providers can offer Kyrgyzia services to store and to process and analyze the data, including computational resources and services. As far as agriculture, and yes, a question, what you talk about, are they in, have they been localized? Are they in Russian or in the local language? Well, Russian language in the Kyrgyz Republic is official language, so there is no language barrier here in order to export our IT solutions. So we don't have any problems and barriers here. So you're okay if we offer a software product in Russian, and that will be welcomed. Yes, by all means, and I'm prepared to say that all official meetings, they are in Russian, and with the local governments and authorities, we communicate in the Russian language, so there is no barrier here. Thank you. Colleagues, are we sending any questions to Kyrgyzia?
одна из немногих стран
This is one of
СНГ,
the few countries from the CIS where the Russian language is officially
с точки зрения
national
ряда
language,
подхода,
and even from the
те
point of
страны,
view of
которые
translation.
были там, ну,
I mean,
необходимы
there
какие-то
are countries
трансляторы,
when
здесь
translators are
действительно
needed,
русскоязычные
then
версии
here
представлены.
translation is not
Роберт
needed.
Рустамович достаточно пространно сказал, что, в
And
общем, ворота
it's
открыты,
been
и
mentioned
все
that
занято. Хотя, конечно, глобальные игроки там тоже
the gates are open, but we know that global players are present there as well. And this is by all means an important point because there are a lot of representatives of large Western IT corporations, but the field's open. And in conclusion, I'd like to say that trade representation of Russia in the Kyrgyz Republic is always ready to help our IT companies. Thank you. Any questions? Yes, please. Good day. Iskander Melizbakov, Russian Federation. I would like to ask, do you have any examples of the facilitation assistance you've rendered in distributing Russian products in Kyrgyzstan? This is what I'm prepared to say. Since we're not authorized to reveal the information about certain successes we've achieved so far, well, I've mentioned Citronics since their project is ongoing in the pipeline, and it is in open media sources. This is what I would focus on. And specifically, we have several projects in the area of information security and in industrial automation. But still, until the company says it gives its consent to make this data public, I'm not ready to comment. Okay, an abstract question. Some IT solutions your local state authorities would use, is there such practice that there are IT solutions of Russian IT companies which are implemented by the state bodies of Kyrgyzstan? Yes, there is such practices. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Robert Alexandrovich, and I wish you every success. The only thing I can say, dear colleagues, with this attitude, you will not be able to sell the elephant. I mean, it's very difficult to contact you if it's not clear in which areas you have achieved success. I mean, your answer is, we'll work, but we're not going to tell you. We have success, we're not going to share. Citronics there, but we are not revealing that. I understand that you are following the directives that's been given to you, but it makes cooperation with you difficult. Well, those who try will prevail. We have Vyacheslav Luzgin, digital attaché in Uzbekistan. Vyacheslav?
Hello, colleagues. I'm so glad to greet you from the sunny. Hello. What would be better, the way it's talking? Shall I tell you about my work, or are you gonna start questioning me straight up? If you want to do it short, are there questions to Tashkent? Yes, there are. Yes, there are questions. Happily, there are questions to Tashkent. Well, I said this, you have to write, you have to address you in writing. So what would be the conditions? What are the conditions for you, for your support if your Russian company enters the market? Well, I tell you from the beginning. Well, first of all, we are all officials, all of us, on the state pays us. Everything else, all the other help, consultation, and all the other support is done. Is all done for free. That's first. Second is this, to augment here what the colleague said before. One of the important points here. Myself and my colleagues, we are officials. We all have experience working in business. We have a business approach to the support companies working abroad. And if we talk about the nature, key KPI is export of Russian IT solutions or Russians hardware or radio electronics to the country where we work. And so we work, we're not working, not just export, it is collaboration between the countries, because just to just sell is one thing, but to build a long-term relationship, long-term collaboration, that takes something else. That requires certain other efforts.
Мы наше железо
Yeah,
продаем.
are we selling our hardware in Uzbekistan? Yes, yes, we do. You do, we do. What do we sell to Uzbekistan? There is lots of success. The server equipment, for example, I'm not going to tell you the existing cases, for example, where I'm involved, but there are examples. There is other equipment for the climatic equipment, several cases, fiber optic fiber, the cable. So would that be of any interest to the audience here? Actually, our hardware, our yes, I just wanted to hone my question to clarify. Maxim Martynov, the climatic project founder here, and yeah, I just wanted, I was asked to move here. So we have drones, we have pilotless drones, so we can't just bring our samples from one state to another. Can you support us? No, no. What is this drone? It is PPS or this is a helicopter type, and we have a device which is not a drone, but is a city-centric device which joins drones in groups to work, for example, on fighting and firefighting. What this element has a type of vision matrices and but it is really narrow spectrum. We only see the fire, we don't see anything else. There is also neural network technologies. Let's make it analyzes on board everything, and of course there is a telecommunication system in the infrared here. You know the automatic, you know the this automatic system of driving of the air vessels. So if we want to bring this into the country, so what kind of support can we from the trade mission? If we want to bring a sample to show one of those, well, first of all, we don't just have that provide assistance. We can consolidate effort on the market to have a lot of experience of work with different companies. If we don't know the answer to certain question, we can give you somebody where will just answer question. There is Innoprom, for example, in Uzbekistan, that happened in Tashkent in April. Drones were brought there and they were presented by companies with the developers of the engineer program, with the program products, with the software. In terms of how we do it, there is a certain approaches. There is AK clusters. We offer drones which aimed at processing, for example, spraying crops on fighting certain insects. So every case has to be viewed. We have to have a look at the documents, what kind of drone it is, etc., etc. And in the trade mission, if we're not talking just the digital, but there is a legal counsel there, I could involve him. And so if you have this need, we're always ready to work on it, to see what kind of assistance we can provide, how you can import one of those for the presentation. For that, so we just go through the digital attaché through you. Can do it? Yeah, you can do that. This is the kind of practice. So where you go to the trade representative, and then he passes it on to me. I'm so sorry I talked over you, and yeah, you wanted to speak more? No? I just, I'm here. Maybe you, maybe I could tell you about the questions that were asked the colleagues. Colleagues were asked. The attaché said there are no tools for the support of export. Really working tools, they don't exist. But what is planned here, they are planned for financing and trying to implement. See what's happened. We work with Brics on the insurance to ensure deals. So we'll look at. We look at a creative approach. Our work is not a conveyor. It's not just not like a unified standard. No, we have to look at every situation precisely. What kind of product, what kind of company, what they want to promote in the area. In my case, in Uzbekistan. Thank you very much, dear colleagues. More questions to Tashkent? Thank you very much. I wish you all the success that you can have, and I hope that you will still promote this. Not an easy question. It's all the dual, it's all stack connects, and it's all the dual purposes, and it may be difficult. There is one more digital attaché, this Sukhanov, Mr. Sukhanov, Evgeny from China.
Hello, Andrei Yuryevich. Good day, dear colleagues. Well, at least everything is in order here. And if you could tell us, if a giant market, and probably there are a lot of questions, and with understanding, having in mind what, and realizing how big China is, and could you say on the importance of the relationship with China? Yes, Andrei Yuryevich, it's quite true that speaking about China, there's a pool of difficulties which are typical for a large market. China is a high competitive market, and they can import substitute everything. Especially we're talking about artificial intelligence systems, neurotechnologies, and large computational complexes. Correspondingly, you won't be able to surprise here anyone with hardware. However, there are certain niches where a Russian product can be competitive. And it is interesting working here, but at the same time, it's challenging and difficult if they are not interested in the item or they don't have a need. If there is a need, they have a need, then there will be a dialogue and the business deal might even happen quickly. But if not, promoting our solutions, especially from abroad, and the Chinese market in many niches, it is controlled by law regarding access or non-access of foreign IT solutions with certain share of localization. Then this is when our importance will face tremendous challenges. And bottleneck is the problem with payments, which is being addressed at grassroots level, but still there is no unanimous consensus or policy. And it's not possible because secondary sanctions, they have a huge impact on bilateral cooperation. Evgeny Sergeyevich, and our products, our software, hardware, or something else, is it expected in China? Like you said, they have niches. What could we communicate to our business community? Where should they target their efforts with the specifics you just mentioned in mind, of course? Yes, Andrei Yuryevich, these are forefront technologies in industrial automation. And industry, and in particular, there's a system of automated design, heavy-duty class, and microelectronics. So it's technical partnership or license. Sale of such systems is a promising area, and there are deals here. Moreover, software and hardware complexes to teach children, preschool and school children, robotics and virtual laboratories. It's used in China in private funded schools. It's harder to work with state funded schools because additional audits and checks and licenses are needed. So in principle, everything that's a cutting edge in artificial intelligence or processing big data is of interest for people in China, but there's a caveat here. I mean, coping. So you need to protect your designs and develop international versions, and registering intellectual rights is a must.
Мне приходилось, достаточно уже, наверное, давно.
Quite a long time ago, I had the fortune of talking to Ms. Tsai, and I know she's quite influential person, and please send my regards, and I'm sure she could help us a great deal because she has a lot of influence. Am I right? Are you acquainted with her? And what organization is she working in? Well, I won't be able to pronounce it. Okay, I will let you know. She's the head of a large state corporation in China. And she worked a lot in Russia, and I think we could have found ways to interact with China in our particular regard. And what about imports? Are the colleagues from China interested to import their technologies to us? Yes, by all means.
Какие-то рекомендации нашим коллегам
Could
можете
you
дать?
share some recommendations with our colleagues, like adaptation of Chinese products on our market using our companies? As representative of the supervising agency, we can only advise to localize and import substitute all foreign solutions if it's possible to establish technological processes, which is we're only welcome that. Overall, here we're not talking about some en masse purchase of solutions from China like servers or smartphones or base stations. Here we're talking about localization and enhancing localization because what's difficult is localizing it. So regarding I cannot share any advice regarding the import of Chinese solutions, but Chinese colleagues are interested in export and they work on those barriers which exist at present. Well, that's obvious. Thank you, Mr. Evich. And you are in the list of digital attaché. Last but not least, and in this trade representation, the specialists, they are from different bodies and agencies, and it's the Minister of Digital or Minister of Trade that you report to. It's Minister of Trade. So you report there about your work when you are on vacation. Well, yes, we work in Ministry of Trade officially. So this is the agency we are accountable to. I understand. Well, but sometimes those who work in the Ministry of Trade, they can work in vessel building, shipbuilding, or Rostech. No. It's Ministry of Trade. Thank you very much, colleagues. Regarding China, it's our export.
Вот все-таки ваш вопрос, да. Пожалуйста.
Yes, please.
Да, здравствуйте. У меня вопрос.
Yes, hello. My question is the specifics of work at this Committee on Laws and Regulations between Russia and China. May be aware of that. To facilitate Chinese investments to Russia, the minimum check there is $15 million. And if there is a case, could you just share it? And what are the guarantees and preferences given to China and Russia in case joint resources are used?
So
could you describe this process? And that's the first question. Second question, localizing manufacturing capacities in China, in technoparks. To what extent do you forward this activity, and do you work with talent leaks? Because in China there are special programs to support talents from other countries. Okay, that's enough for the questions from me. Thank you for the questions. The Committee on Laws and Regulations, as for others, is been organized. It works, and it's the Ministry of Economic Development that works with it, and we involved in shaping up the agenda. If it's IT project and your humble servant contributes there, and at this stage there is a cable from Europe to Asia, and the elements of e-trade, development of platform using Alibaba resource, export of IT services and IT products, it doesn't belong there. So your humble servant is more involved in the working groups on IT cooperation, which is supervised by the Ministry of Digital Development, and we contribute on radio electronics. That's from the Ministry of Trade and Industry. So the investment group, I'm not involved in its work. And colleagues who work with metallurgy or car industry or aviation, they are involved in shaping up the agenda and promoting our interests. And the second question regarding localization of Chinese technoparks. Unfortunately, as of today, we haven't had. Well, it's unfortunate on one hand, if we're talking about software, because radio electronics is best developed in Russia. So we didn't have any requests to land a company here. There were requests to open an office or a representative office, but the benefits policy, as of now, it is not of key interest. But we have a pool of free economic zones, which is focused on research cooperation, and we can recommend that as part of SEO, and they in Beijing and the big Gulf area also opens its doors. So we recommend looking into other region, Shanxi and Hebei, in the sphere of IT and digitization in particular. And third question regarding the leak. As of now, it has not been worked on, and speaking about the programs, both the state ones and within the existing IT corporations, like starting the centers in abroad and stationing these employees in center in China, we know about that, we know how it works, and we cannot do anything about it. So far, there are no direct requests for the return of IT specialists. That's in China. I don't know how it's with other colleagues. Thank you very much. And any more questions to Evgeny Sergeyevich regarding northern Manchuria? What's the outlook there? Usually this is the territory which is happy to cooperate with Russia. Well, yes, thank you. Thank you for that question. It is true that we've recently had in Expo, Russian-China Expo, and it was on the basis of Inaprom, and this time it's on the basis of trade fair in Harbin. In northeastern China, with technologies is not that bright, and there is industrial automation. We can take Shenyang, aerodynamic companies, car industry in Changchun, where they manufacture Hunzi cars, and also work on that with one of the solutions in automotive. It's a multimedia system to localize onboard computers. However, the partnership is it's a high-tech partnership in these regions. Still, it's not developed. It's more of a traditional trade in products, in equipment, and that's not high-tech. And Habentian and Dilin, it is in process and quite active one. But would like to cover other parts of China as well, because Northeast is very small, about 100 million people. in Guangdong, Doramo.
Ну, тут вам нечего возразить.
Well, I have nothing to object here regarding the numbers. You know that better. For us, 100 million is quite impressive, of course. Thank you, Evgeny Sergeyevich.
Успеха. Действительно, работа выше крыши у вас, это совершенно очевидно.
Every success to you. I know you have a lot of work. Thank you.
Спасибо. Мы еще будем, к вам еще придут.
And we'll come back to you for sure.
Коллеги, вот
Colleagues,
Соколов-Щербачев Кирилл Геннадьевич, он
Kirill Sergachev, he is Deputy Director of the Department of Information Support of the Ministry of Russia. Kirill Gennadievich, maybe you could sum up, because everything we've heard is part of the structures that are accountable to the embassies. Yes, good day, colleagues. Well, you mean digital attaches? Yes?
Да, ну, мне на самом деле сложно сказать, потому
Well, it's
что
hard
я
for me to say because
в своей практике
in my
в
practice,
нынешних недружественных
I
странах,
worked in the countries which today are not friendly, and such and digital attaché in those trade representation offices, well, it wasn't even thought about. And as far as I understand from what's been said today,
конечно, направления географические такие,
the geographical
где у нас наиболее
areas and countries that's been mentioned where we have most promising relations,
ну, что сказать,
well, what can I
как
say?
коллеги и говорили,
As colleagues mentioned it,
есть четкие свои
they
направления
have
деятельности,
clear
распределение
areas of
обязанностей,
activity and distribution of responsibilities, and everyone
требовать от
has
них
their own
чего-то
thing, and
всеобъемлющего,
asking something
наверное, не стоит.
global from them, it's probably not worthwhile.
Какие-то проверки по компаниям проводить, ну, наверное, это в
Like
их
having audits in the companies, well, it's not part of their responsibility.
В принципе, как направление
As a
цифровой
principle,
думаю, что это перспективно.
digital attaché, I think, is
Это
promising.
нужно развивать,
It should be developed.
развивать и в других странах.
It should be
но,
developed in other
к
countries.
сожалению, наши
And
торговые
unfortunately,
представительства
our
не
trade
так
representation are
многочисленны,
not
как
that
наши
plenty
посольства.
as our embassies,
И, соответственно, круг их
and their circle
не так многочислен.
is
Но,
not
может
that
быть,
plenty.
в перспективе, там, где нету
And
торговых
in
представительств,
future, where there
в
is
каждом
no trade
посольстве есть
representation in every embassy,
эконом-группа.
there is a
И,
economy
возможно,
think tank.
ну, интеграция вот
And the
таких,
integration is
цифровых
possible between
атташе
digital
в
attaches
состав посольства.
and
То есть
making
это
them part
такие
of the embassy.
прецеденты тоже есть,
So we know
когда
cases like that
представители
when there are
других
representatives
министерств
of other
в
ministries
составе посольства.
and they work as part of the embassy.
Поэтому мне кажется, надо развивать
So I
географию.
believe we need to expand the geography of our digital attaches
Ну и продвигать это направление
and promote this
как можно больше.
Спасибо,
as
Кирилл
far
Иванович.
as
Вот по
possible.
поводу проверок.
Thank you, Kirill Gennadievich.
Не надо
Regarding
играть
the
в
audits and
Министерство
check, we
внутренних дел и
shouldn't
так далее.
act as
Мне
ministry for
представляет, что если
internal
это
affairs,
официальный
etc. I
представитель
believe that
торговый
this is an official representation.
эконом-советник,
And
эконом-отдел
the
Может же
economy
Министерство
department,
промышленности, Министерство
it can
индустрии
be the
страны, где ты
Ministry
находишься,
of
поставить
Industry.
запрос.
You
Нам
can send the
обратилась такая
request.
компания.
And for
Подтвердите
example,
ее
this is the company that contact
Это,
us.
по-моему,
Could
совершенно
you
нормально для деловой переписки.
um,
Тем самым
write us about its reputation? It's normal business correspondence.
В штате есть
As
люди,
far as I
которые на
understand,
этом
they have
специализируются.
staff people who
Это официальная
specialize on that.
переписка, она не требует
Well, it's an
никаких
official correspondence
дополнительных
which doesn't
соглашений
require any
или
additional
взаимодействия
agreements
там в рамках каких-то там
as
там
part of
уголовных
some
и так далее.
criminal
Обратились, подтвердите. Вот,
proceedings. So they just
допустим,
contact
если ты
you
хочешь
with
там
a
с китайским
request to
установить
confirm.
отношения, находясь в России,
When you want to
посольство,
establish relationships
руки
with
не горят.
China,
Посольство
so
Китая
you know
обратилось
manuscripts
с
don't burn,
запросом,
and
обязательно
so
ответят.
they will respond.
Это совершенно очевидно.
And this is quite
Мне кажется,
obvious,
тоже
and I
могли
believe
бы делать,
this
и
could have been done,
даже не играть не в секрет,
and
а тут другое.
there's no secret
Ну,
there.
здесь они люди
Это не к вам вопрос.
And it's not a question to you,
да,
it's just
подневольные, у них
yes, I understand that they
руководитель,
have
торгового представителя.
Конечно.
Если он
trade
полномочия
representative,
компании
and
ограничивают, ну,
if their duties are
всё равно всё
limited by
готовят. Они
companies'
не
bylaws, so
выступают,
they do not act
самостоятельно.
on their own volition.
Вот когда я впервые услышал об этом термине,
When I
то
first heard about
у
this
меня было
term,
представление, что это
I
как-то
thought
отдельная
that
единица,
it's like a standalone
военный
unit, like
атташе.
there's
Нет,
military
военный
attaché
атташе. Цифровой атташе это
and
получается
digital
просто
attaché
такое громкое название, а на самом деле
is,
это
well,
специалист
loud name, but it's just a specialist in
торгового
промышленности, они
представительства. И у
создание.
них вот сама должность называется там
trade, and
ведущий
their
специалист или специалист,
job
или
position is
эксперт.
lead specialist or
То есть,
expert specialist.
ну,
Знаете, мы в ассамблее тоже делается.
And in the assembly, we have this
Такие названия, они, может быть,
special
достаточно
digital special
очень
force, but
употребимого
they like,
характера носят.
yeah,
Спасибо, Кирилл Иванович. Не буду
it's
Коллеги, я
has
вот
become
хочу сказать,
complex.
что мы
Thank you, and colleagues, I
составили
want to
общее
say that
впечатление
we
о
now
наших
have
цифровых
an
атташе за
understanding
рубежом
of
от ведущих
our
стран,
attaché
других
in
Китая, как
different countries, in India and
крупнейшие
China,
партнеры Российской
which is the
Федерации.
largest
У
partner
нас здесь
of
достаточно
Russia,
много выступающих,
and we have quite a lot of
онлайн и офлайн. Вот
those
те,
who
кто сейчас
present
присутствует в
online and
аудитории,
offline,
есть
and from those who are present in the audience. Is there anyone who would like
Помогите
to
мне,
talk? And
должен
could you
выступать,
help
в
me?
смысле, должен быть на
We're
связи
supposed to have
Гусунау Паскаль,
Pascal
председатель законодательного собрания
from the
провинции
Legislative Council of the
Канизе
province
Республики
of
Бурунди.
Canese from Burundi.
Видимо,
I
как раз на
guess
заседании Заксобрания.
he's at the session of the Legislative Council and not here.
Здесь записавшихся было на 2 листах. Мы сейчас
Well,
послушаем
we have a lot of names in the list. So far we've heard 6
и в формате
speakers,
онлайн.
and those who wanted
Помогите мне,
to
пожалуйста, кто-то
speak
обратиться
online,
со связью.
and
Мы
I
никого
need some
не
help
видим.
here. Has
Да?
everyone who registered
Все выступили.
got the chance to speak? Yes.
От Югры,
And from Yugra,
от хозяев,
from
департамент
the host, the
промышленности,
Department of
Ханты-Мансийского
Industry of the Khanty-Mansiysk Autonomous
экономического
Okrug,
развития,
or
Институт экономического
Department for
развития
Economic Development.
Югры. Знаете, давайте будем сейчас, не будем никого допрашивать. Мы с вами
Oh, we're not going to interrogate anyone.
чуть больше часа.
It's been an hour of intense
Я
discussions,
поймал себя на мысли,
and I
что
caught
я веду
myself
сейчас на
thinking that
производственном
I
совещании. Это
act
не
as a
очень
director at
получается.
a
Я прошу прощения
company
за
meeting, and I
мое, может быть,
apologize for my, it's not
бесцеремонное перебивание.
quite right, and I apologize for interrupting those who's been in touch with us from Digital Attaché
Мы
of
видим,
Russia.
что институт
Well, we
действительно
see that
новый,
this is a new institute,
и
and
мне кажется, перспективы не очень большие.
I think it has a
Но поскольку
promising outlook.
я думаю, что
And I believe
за спиной каждого специалиста,
that
который
if
делает
behind the back of each
стояло
digital attaché there was a
было бы больше
institution, then there would be, for example, Minister of Digital Development.
который
Then I
заинтересован
guess
в
there would
внедрении
be
российского
ministry that would be interested
как
to
софта,
implement
как железо, ну, и
Russian
все, что с этим связано. Было, мне кажется, больше.
IT. So there would be more of that.
В отпуск приезжаешь,
It's kind of great, right? You can return to Russia on vacation, and you have to present a report about your work, and you don't know in advance whether you're going to go back, and maybe this is going to be your last vacation, and you'll be fired after that. So you need to present a report about your work. And the sphere of activity is quite diverse.
Хотя мне думается, что
Although I believe
все это так или иначе все
that this
структурируется.
way or another, it's all
Уж
being
очень
structured.
много на этой поляне
So there's quite
недобросовестных
a
партнеров.
lot
Очень много.
who play
Это с одной
unfairly,
стороны.
and
Потом,
this is true for both sides.
Вот так контракт составлен.
Now,
Даже
for
надо
example,
помогать
if you
составлять
have a
контракт.
contract and you need to
В
help
каком поле
make a
юридическом
contract,
будет
in what legal
работать
field are you
по
going to
выполнению контракта?
work when
Английский какой-то
working on a
другой
contract?
еще.
Is it
Ну,
the English
многие
law
стараются как раз вот английского,
or
чтобы
some,
есть понимание, как в международных
anything
судах
else?
отстаивать свои права. Хотя сейчас и даже
Although
это
today,
часть не спасает,
and
потому
in
что
many respects, it doesn't
за
help
последние
because
несколько лет
recently
поломались, по-моему, все устои международные, все юридические.
all
И еще, как говорится,
legal
неизвестно, кому
bases
повезет.
broke down,
Очень много
international bases, I mean. So there's a
торговых
lot of
взаимоотношений
trade relations
переходит
that
вообще в какую-то паникийность.
return
Когда говорят о платежах, это сейчас является одним из ключевых
into,
Совершенно очевидно.
well,
Взаимное недоверие. Поставщик
mutual
говорит, что не
distrust.
заплатит, а покупатель
The
говорит, что не поставит.
buyer is afraid that
И,
it will not,
вот
the product will not be delivered, and the seller is afraid that he's not going to be paid.
банковский.
So, and
Его что-то должен сделать. У нас платежников здесь нет.
we have specialists who are involved in making
Самые
payments.
активные у нас.
So, I mean, the most
И
active
всё-таки
ones, they are.
Да, мы как раз...
Well, yeah, exactly that. We're working on this issue, on the carbon units, for instance, and the alternative ways of payment, for example. How do we do that? And of course, there is a lot of politics, but you have to separate the grain from the crud, and then the actual agenda, the essence is the provision of different goods here and non-financial reporting that restores the harm. It's like our Father up in heaven, you have to know that we are restoring the harm done by certain products. So you have to understand how the standards, the transfers of standards between the states. It's quite a broad field of activities, of course, and then in Brics, there is a gigantic pool of countries that provide. There is the non-financial reporting as the carbon units, and my work with the government of China, that I managed to get to the people who actually make decisions. The position is very simple. It's $400 billion annually spent on carbon units to do with industrial units to do with industry, with processing industry, and they have the standard, and that's what they operate. We are a country with gigantic potential, with forests, the woods, and Khanty-Mansiysk is a cherry on a cake. Yeah, whoever has the cartilage, whoever has the watermelon, whatever. If you say it's a cherry, it's a cherry. And so, from the point of view, from the digital trade missionaries, it would be trade, not trade attaché, but trade representatives. So digital trade representative, digital representatives, maybe that will be the funny digital, that would be a good beginning. And to support a courageous project, courageous, brave projects, and not everybody could say that they are brave if they climbed out of the ditch. And so, yeah, the brave support, the brave project, brave support, everybody, it's all well, who if not us? If not us, then who? If not we, then who? And then we understand that at the point of making a decision, the generation that is our teachers, there's fewer and fewer of those. And so what now? Now we take the responsibility and we move forward. We move forward and we resolve the issue. So there's the phrase that you haven't said. That is a slogan. So if not we, then who? And no one behind us. After we've been here, no one left. So yeah, but yeah, well, you may know this, but suddenly we've come to an end. So the Burundi connection didn't work out.
Давайте еще одну лазейку оставим для присутствующих здесь, поскольку ведет стенограмму. So
there is the record here, and there would be some resulting documents. There will be final documents. If there are suggestions for our finalizing documents, some wishes, some remarks, quite new. It was not our goal was not listening to the digital attachés, but it's just a new tool in international trade. So maybe with a little bit of a kind of belated.
Мой опыт взаимодействия таможенных служб. Было одно время вообще очень плохой был. Потому что
So
мы,
there's
допустим,
just the
посылали
issue.
запросы
It
на
was quite
русском
bad. You
языке,
know, the questions that we send in
коллеги
Russian and our colleagues,
китайские
Chinese
на
colleagues,
долго отвечали.
they've been
Потом,
replying
когда
for
оказалось,
they,
что не
they
сразу.
they took a
То
long,
есть
long
посылать
time to
запросы на
answer if we
английском,
send
в
it
разы
in
сроки
English. Then
получения
this
запроса на русском.
information you get the
Вроде
information
мелочь,
much
да?
faster.
Написать
It's a
на
little
русском
thing, but you know
только
how
когда
important it
речь
is,
идет о
especially
внешней
when you talk
торговле,
about the
исполнении контрактов,
actual
все.
trade,
Ну, в конце
international
концов, даже
trade,
еще
and fulfilling
ниже
contracts, how
приходится.
important it is.
Я как мог тяну.
So
16 часов.
it is 1600 hours, 1600 hours, 14 minutes, and it will, so round of applause, it will be 16:15, and it is, I suggest that we end our session, so thank you. In these situations, I hope that this is the round of applause to everyone present here and people who were talking. You understand how difficult it was, especially for the girl that was in the beginning, that she was met with an avalanche of questions. So if you are listening to us, we love all of you, and please do not judge us. Although one of my colleagues, he said he likes being grilled. You know, being grilled is hard, believe me. So it would be a better way to feed your curiosity than this format. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Коллеги.